this is how you break 90 if you stink at golf and you want to do it the easiest way possible. I was shooting in the hundreds, and then I went to a par 3 course, and I shot a really good score, and I thought, this doesn't really count because it's a par 3 course, but then I realized it's pretty easy to make every hole at my home course a par 3, an easy par 3 hole if I just put the driver away. So this is my method of how I broke 90 for the first time. I was shooting like 105, and then the first time I did this, I shot, I don't know, like a 93 or something like that, and then after like 4 or 5 times, I broke 90. So this is how you do it. First things first, well, there's 3 aspects. There's off the tee box, from the fairway or the rough, and then the approach in on the greens and around the greens. So the approach off the tee box is, how do I make this hole a short par 3? If all 18 holes on the course were a short par 3, you'd probably break 90 unless you're really bad. So how do you make every hole on the course a short par 3? So what you don't do off this tee box, if you see where my mouse is, you don't try to hit the ball as far down the fairway as you possibly can hit it to here. You figure out what club is very comfortable for you that you can keep relatively straight. So for me, my lob wedge goes 100 yards. My pitching wedge goes about 150 yards. So all my wedges, whatever. I aim for 125 yards. So if this hole right here is let's say a 325 yard par 4. Instead of hitting a driver and bringing all of this crap into play and giving myself an opportunity to make a triple, I'm just going to take 325 yards and subtract 125, which is my comfort distance, and that's 200 yards. So I'm just going to hit my 200-yard club, which is a rescue club. So I just hit a rescue club to here rather than here, and then I have a nice, easy approach into the green. From here, I've successfully made the hole a short par 3, a 125-yard par 3. If every hole on the course was a 125-yard par 3, I'd break 90, and every hole on the course is pretty easy to turn into a 125-yard par 3, except the par 3s, obviously. So that's the approach off the tee, is just find a comfort club. Don't just take driver. Find a comfort club, subtract that from the total distance, and hit whatever club is going to go closest to that distance. Even if it's 140, I'd rather hit my 3-wood to have a gap wedge out than have to hit driver to have a sand wedge out. So you just obviously keep it in play, but you're trying to just set up every hole where they're all relatively similar. All your par 4s and par 5s, you're like 125 yards out. It's an easy game. Okay, from the fairway, let's see here. The main mistake that people make is that they aim at the flag, and they're not good enough to aim at the flag. Okay. Let's see. This is how you want to picture. This is Ronald Acuna Jr.'s spray chart. But this is how you want to picture your shot. So if you are a great golfer, if you're Tiger Woods, this chart is going to be a lot thinner. If you're a bad golfer, it's going to be a lot wider. You don't want to think of your shot off the fairway into the green as one shot. You want to think of it as a spray chart of like 100 different shots, what they would look like. If you're bad, they're all over the place, right? And then you put the center of that cone, that spray chart, right into the center of the green. So if you ever played Madden, you have QB vision, right? You have, right? This is like a Dak Prescott, right? This is like a shitty QB vision. This is like Tiger Woods's left to right with his wedges, right? It's very accurate. He can aim pretty much right at the flag. Sometimes he probably actually aims more towards the center of the green and just cheats towards the flag. This is you, right? Peyton Manning's QB vision. You have this wide, you have no business going straight at the flag. So you just stand on the fairway, picture yourself on the range and go, okay, if I took 100 shots, what would the spray chart look like? That's your spray chart. That's what's going to happen. So just aim that right at the center of the green to give you just want to be on the center of the green. And I think I can show the thought process here, bro. Okay, so let's say we have a green, okay? There we go. All right. Let's say we have a flag. Let's say it's on the right-hand side. Okay. What you do currently is you aim at the flag, thinking of your shot as being one of those beams rather than a spray chart. If it was a spray chart, you'd know the left misses are all the way over here, and the right misses are all the way over here. So you probably aim right there. If there's like water here, you might actually aim over here. You might actually aim at the left side of the green, even though the flag's on the right side of the green. But to keep it simple, you just aim right at the center of the green. Here's what happens. Let's say you hit a ball, perfect shot, right? Right into the center of the green. You might think, I should have went right at the flag because that was a perfect shot. I would have, hold it. Fair enough, but you still have a very short putt. You're probably going to make par, which is amazing if you're trying to break 90. And you still can make birdie even though you didn't go right at the flag. You still can. Or you're going to miss to the right, okay? Which actually ends up being great. It goes right at the flag and then you make a birdie. So it's not like just because you aim away from the flag, necessarily that means you're going to, it might actually help you and you miss to the right and it goes at the flag. So you're going to make a birdie. Or you're going to miss to the left, okay? Even though you were aiming left of the flag, you're going to miss like right here or right here. This is an easy chip. You have all the green to work with. This is a long putt. You might make a bogey, but you might make a par. You could even make a birdie. You're basically good if you miss to the right. You're good if you miss to the left. Now, if you go at the flag, if you miss to the left, you're here. So what I'm trying to say is a third of the time you're here, a third of the time you're here, and a third time you go right at the flag. If your cone is like the size of the green, you're pretty accurate with like your gap wedge, for example. A third of the time you have a long putt, a third of the time you have a medium putt, third time you have an amazing putt. If you go right at the flag, these two right here, left and center, they just move to the right, right? Your cone, instead of going from here to here, it's from here to here, right? You're just shifting where you're aiming to the right hand side of the green. So now when you miss left, you're here. So a third of the time you have this medium putt again, same thing. A third of the time you're right at the flag again, except when you miss right, you're like short-sighted in a bunker and you make a triple bogey. And it ruins your chances of breaking 90. So first step is make every single hole, theorize on the tee box. How do I make this a short par 3? Because if every hole is a short par 3, I definitely break 90. Then from the fairway, aim at the center of the green. Now that's left to right. Aim center at the green no matter what. Now if you're QB vision, right? If your spray chart's really tight because you're like Tiger, you can go right at the flag. But if you're watching a video about how to break 90, obviously you're not Tiger. You should go right at the center of the green, and you'll mitigate your doubles and triples, and you'll actually be surprised. Sometimes you go safe and think, well, I'm sacrificing a birdie op, and that's how you end up making birdie anyways, is when your safe shot ends up working out. It's not like you're sacrificing a birdie op. Then on the greens, just focus on, if it's outside of 3 feet, just focus on the ball dropping in the hole. So you're prioritizing the lag. And if you're inside of 3 feet, think of the ball rolling through the hole. So you see people who suck, like have like a 3-foot putt and leave it short, or like they play the break of the green. Like when you're that close, just drill it right into the hole. So once you get it on the green in 2 on a par 4, just try to lag it within 3 feet. Anytime it's within 3 feet, try to roll it right in. You're not going to make double bogeys that often like this. You'd be surprised how many pars you make. You might even make a couple birdies. You make maybe a couple triples, maybe, but the point is you'll mitigate your losses and you'll be able to break 90. As you get better, you might notice, okay, with a gap wedge, for example, I take the distance halfway between the flag and the middle of the green with a wedge because my QB vision's very tight with it, right? My spray chart's very tight, whereas with a 7-iron, I still go at the center. And then when you get really, really good, you might, go right at the flag with wedges and cheat to the right with your irons and still go at the center with your woods. Whatever. I don't really know what they do on the PGA Tour. But the point is, there's 3 steps. How do I make this a short par 3? So if it's a par 5, you're going to say it's 500 yards. Okay. I can hit a 200-yard rescue club, a 200-yard rescue club, and then a 100-yard gap wedge, and be on or near the green. And how am I going to make a triple like that? I'm not. Whereas if I drive and put the ball in the street and have to drop and hit 3 off the tee box, now I'd be lucky to make a triple, and you have no chance of breaking 90. So, in summary, what you want to do is show up 30 minutes early, practice putting, practice chipping, do like 10 minutes of long putts, 10 minutes of short putts. Like I said, if it's a long putt, drop the ball in the hole. If it's a short putt, roll it into the hole. And the approach off of every tee box is make this hole a par 3. If it's a par 3, it's already done for you. If it's a par 4, you just subtract the distance. If it's a par 5, you subtract the distance, divide it by 2, and get there in 3, if you know what I mean. And you aim at the center of the green. I didn't mention, actually. That's just left to right. We'll save that. Right? You also have to decide where to aim front to back. Right? So what you want to do is, like, you want to figure out what this distance is. So let's say it's 100 yards. Let's say it's 110 yards. Let's say it's 125 yards. So if you have a club that's comfortable that goes 125 yards, I don't care if the pin's right here, and I don't care if the pin's right here, right? Just aim at the center of the green. The only time you do anything different than that is when that number, 125, is truly actually in between clubs. Like if you have one club that goes 115 and one club that goes 135, then you pick the club that's long. So if it's, or you pick the club towards the flag. So if the flag's in the back, then you add a club, and if the flag's in the front, then you take away a club, right? You take the shorter club. If you have a watch or an app that shows you front to back, sometimes it's easier to say, okay, I'm kind of in between clubs with the middle number, but when I look at front and back, I have a club that definitely goes to the front and definitely doesn't go over the back. And that's... God. Yo, I'm making a video, bro. You're on the vlog, bro. Don't be shy.
Yo, can you hear me?
Bro.
Can you hear me?
Anyways. Yeah, so just aim at the center of the green. Grab the club that goes at the center of the green. If you're truly actually in between clubs, then take the one farthest to the hole. If the pin is in the middle of the green and you're actually in between clubs, just take the longer club. So you're still aiming, just like you aim left to right at the center, front to back at the center. Obviously, you have to take into consideration elevation and wind and all that, but plays like 125. That's how you approach it. So every hole on the course, you go, well, if every hole was a short par 3, I'd play really well. Okay, it's a par 5, it's 500 yards. That minus my comfort distance is, let's say it's 125. 500 minus 125, whatever that distance is, divided by 2, whatever club that is, hit it twice. And then every hole you're aiming to be on or near the green, okay? In regulation, near the green in regulation's fine. And then you just play a little short game and try to shoot a 90. And you probably won't the first few times, but you will when a couple putts sink and things go your way. So show up 30 minutes early, practice putting, practice chipping. Try to approach off the tee box, make every hole a par 3, which means if it's a long course, you're going to have to drive a lot. If it's a short course, you might never, ever have to drive. Just approach every tee box like that, every fairway, center of the green. A lot of people would play better if the flags were out and they didn't even know where the holes are. Just pretend the flag's out, aim at the center of the green, try to lag and drag your putts. And you're never going to make really bad triples, and you should give yourself an opportunity to break 90. You play enough rounds, you will break 90. Yeah. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.